Welcome back to the Cricket Corner podcast as we preview the first day's play between India and Australia in the second test match here at New Delhi. Similar to the first test in Nagpur, Australia once again won the toss and Pat Cummins had no hesitation to bat first on yet another dryish pitch. I think the reason is pretty similar. Australia did not want to bat second and fourth on this pitch, which is bound to turn and grip as the test match progresses. Now, the first talking point of the game came as soon as Pat Cummins was asked to name his starting 11 for the second test match, and Australia went ahead with three genuine spinning options, and that aside, keeping Travis Head aside. So Australia made two changes from the side which lost by an innings and 132 runs in the first test match in Nagpur. Out went Matt Renshaw. In came Travis Head. Now that was the most obvious change Australia were going to make, and which could have been predicted, let's say, by a 5-year-old if they were interested in cricket, and that was straightforward. But the change which surprised a lot of people was the exclusion of Scott Boland and the inclusion of Matthew Kuhnemann. Now, Kuhnemann's the latest addition to the Australian squad. I think he replaced Swepson in the squad between the first and the second test match. Now Scott Boland had a decent first test match, but everyone expected him, at least I certainly expected him to be replaced by Mitchell Starc, because apparently there were news that Mitchell Starc was fit enough to play in the second test match. But apparently Australia going aggressive with their spinning options, and have picked up three spinners in the form of Matthew Kuhnemann, first test match hero Todd Murphy, and the evergreen Nathan Lyon. But it was Australia who batted first, and let's be honest, Australia were much better than their efforts in the first test match first session, where they only managed 177. Australia did get bowled out. Now that's something they might not want to have, because there were like 12 or 13 overs remaining in the end of day's play when the final wicket fell. But Australia managed to put up a commendable, I would not say commendable, I think a respectable total of 263, and that was largely down to three important innings played by the Aussie batsmen. First one coming right at the top with Usman Khawaja. Usman Khawaja showing that he is one of the informed batsmen and one of the most pretty to watch when he's on song. Usman Khawaja making 81 runs of 125 deliveries. His innings included 12 fours and one ginormous six. He was partnered well alongside David Warner. David Warner did have a somewhat struggling start of an innings. Sometimes he looked in control, sometimes he didn't. He made 15 of 44 deliveries. But the opening stand did go past 650. I wouldn't say go past 50. It was exactly 50 when Warner fell through Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shami picking up David Warner on the 15th over. Then Marnus Labuschagne came in. He just added 18. And 3 deliveries later, it was Steve Smith's time to go back. Both wickets taken by Ravichandran Ashwin in the spell of 4 deliveries. But Usman Khawaja's contribution was the highest one as far as the Australian innings is concerned. He made 81, as we mentioned, but he was looking strong until he tried to sweep Ravi Jadeja, and a blinder of a catch taken by KL Rahul with one hand at the cover area. That was one of the best catches I have seen in Test match cricket for some time now, and that was something special. And I felt like the innings was so nicely crafted by Usman Khawaja that only a special catch that of KL Rahul could have dismissed, and that was Khawaja done for 81. But then, the Australian contribution did not just die down. Peter Handscomb once again showing why he is one of the better players of spin. He remained not out, unbeaten on 72 of 142 deliveries. with an innings comprising of just 9 boundaries. But I feel like Peter Handscomb's contribution is a lot more important to Australia than Usman Khawaja's. Now, don't get me wrong, Usman Khawaja was absolutely brilliant for his 81 runs, but Peter Handscomb came in when Steve Smith fell and Travis Head following suit early. He just made 12. He did a 6 though, Travis Head, but he was gone for 12. Alex Carey, who usually sweeps his way off the spinning tracks, gone out without troubling the scorers. But Handscomb's 72 was paired nicely with skipper Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins coming in and scoring 33 of 59 deliveries. His innings comprised of 3 4s and 2 6s. So Pat Cummins showing why you can consider him as an all-rounder. But again, his contribution was important to the proceedings as well. Pat Cummins picked up by Jadeja for an LBW at 33. And that rest of the tail again didn't contribute. Todd Murphy again not. Nathan Lyon did score a couple of boundaries for his 10 runs, and Matthew Kuhneman on debut scored 6. Now, so that's the Australian batting card. Contributions coming from Usman Khawaja scoring 81 runs, Peter Handscomb scoring 72, and captain skipper Pat Cummins scoring 33. As far as the Indian bowling contingent is concerned, Mohammad Shami was the pick of the bowlers, picking up 4 for 60 of 14.4 overs, which included 4 maidens. He picked up the wicket of David Warner, Travis Head, and then cleaned up the tail by getting rid of Nathan Lyon and Matthew Kuhneman. Mohammad Siraj was wicketless, but the Indian spinners usually are never. Ravichandran Ashwin 3 for 57 and Ravindra Jadeja 3 for 68. Those two are always amongst the wickets. Akshat Patel just got 12 overs, none for 34. He was the 5th bowling option used by captain Rohit Sharma. But when Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja on song, you don't need a 3rd spinning option. The duo taking up 6 wickets between them, and the rest 4 were taken by Mohammad Shami. Now, there was an interesting point made by Matthew Hayden in the commentary box during the first session. He said that the pitch already looks like it's 2 to 3 days old, and it was dusty and it was dry, and he felt like the cracks could open up in the Delhi heat. Now, that's an interesting call because even the commentators feel like the pitch is going to deteriorate as the game goes on, which could mean that the 263 Australia have put on the scoreboard could be a good enough total. Now, we all know how good India are when it comes to their batting. They bat so deep. They bat down to number 9, Mohammad Shami. And let's be honest, Shami has scored 37 the last game. He could have one of those Pat Cummins kind of influence on the batting lineup as well. But Australia have 3 genuine spinners, 1 part-time spinner in Travis Head. Can you call Marnus Labuschagne as a part-time spinner as well? I would say yes. So they have 5 spinners and Pat Cummins at their sole pace bowler. So Australia might be feeling like if the pitch is going to go downgrade, then they might be having a chance of restricting India to a respectable total, which they can then trail or build a lead upon. If Australian bowling is on point, they might be good enough and restrict India to a total well within their reach and not go past somewhere like 400, which they did in the last innings, in the last test match, I beg your pardon. But India came out to bat with just 9 overs to play, and Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul were able to negotiate those 9 overs without much of troubles. They had a few troubles. We'll talk about them in just a second. But Rohit Sharma ending the day's play with 13 runs and KL Rahul on 4. Rohit Sharma did score 1 boundary on the course of his 13 runs. But That's India 21 for none at 9 overs. But the talking point came at the very last over of the Indian of the first Test match of the last over of the first day's play. Sorry for the confusion of the words there. But Nathan Lyon bowled the last over of the day, and with just 4 balls remaining and India on 20 for no loss, Lyon bowling round the stumps, and Rohit Sharma then tries to flick the ball, but however the ball looped into the hands of short leg and was given out by the on-field umpire. The decision was immediately reviewed by Rohit Sharma, and the replays and the ultra edge clearly showing that there wasn't a bat involved, and the decision was reversed to not out. The next ball, Rohit Sharma takes a single, brings KL Rahul on strike with a couple of deliveries left, and the ball and Nathan Lyon once again bowling round the wicket. The ball keeping so low that KL Rahul had to dig deep to get it off the stumps, which was quite interesting that the ball is keeping so low on the very first day's play on day one, to be honest. But India were safe and they safely negotiated those 9 overs. Those 9 overs which had 6 of them being bowled by the spinners, 4 by Kuhnemann, 2 by Nathan Lyon, 3 by Pat Cummins. So there is no introduction of Todd Murphy. He would be expected to bowl in the first session on the second day's play. So that's the situation. At the end of day 1, India 21 for no loss, and they end the first day's play trailing Australia by 242 runs. So that's still a long way to go for India before they can even think about taking a lead in this second Test match. So what do India need to do? I think India want their openers to at least negotiate the first session on the second day, and India definitely needs their middle order to contribute. Sorry. If India's middle order comprising of Pujara, Kohli, Shreyas Iyer is back replacing Surya Kumar Yadav, and Shrikar Bharat can contribute somewhat, then it will take the pressure off the likes of Ashwin, Jadeja, Akshar Patel and Mohammad Shami, because they are the ones usually doing all the scoring because the middle orders failed in Nagpur. So India definitely want the middle order to contribute, and if they do, then they could pile up a huge total and provide Australia with some troubles. But let's be honest, the pitch is going to turn, and Australia with 3 genuine spinners and 2 part-timers could have the upper hand if India are not careful. So that's the short review of the first day's play between India and Australia here at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. Once again, to wrap things up and to remind the listeners that Australia made 263 but were bowled out with 12 overs remain. In reply, India batted for 9 overs and scored 21 runs. India trailed by 242 runs at the end of the day, and we look forward to yet another brilliant day's play on day 2. So that's the review done. Now I'll head back to my class, which is 2 hours long, but you have to go. You have to do what you have to do. I might be editing the class, or might be editing the podcast in the class. Wish me luck. See you tomorrow. Ciao for now.